What's up everyone, welcome to my channel again. And today we're going to talk about should you buy a manual. Before we start today's video, click the subscribe button and also follow my Instagram page, follow my Facebook page. So before we talk about should you buy a manual, first I want to clear some things up, which is automatic is actually not a replacement for a manual car. Why? Because there are actually three types of transmission, which is manual, auto and semi-auto, and all three of them are categorized based on their structure. So for an automatic, it will be using a planetary gear and torque converter. If it is a manual, it will be using a helix gear and a clutch system. And if it is a semi-auto, it is basically like two transmission in one package, and all three of them have a capability of driving in automatic mode or manual mode. Of course, not all of them. For example, like in your automatic car, you will see the 1, 2, 3 that you can shift manually, and that doesn't make it a semi-auto, that doesn't make it a manual, it is still an automatic. And for some car like BMW SMG transmission, you shift to D in order to drive. Well, that doesn't make it a automatic car, it is still a manual car. And if you are in a modern supercar, for example like Lamborghini Aventador, well, there is a pedal shifter and you start your car, maybe your car is running on automatic. Well, that doesn't make your car an automatic or semi-auto, it is still a manual car, or to be precise, it's a sequential manual. So basically, auto and manual are just two different gearbox. It is not that which one is more modern, which one is the replacement. It is just an option. So which one should you choose, auto and manual? Well, I'm going to categorize this into a few categories. First of all, features. Well, I'm not talking about the features of the transmission, but the features of the car overall. Because for country like Malaysia or some other country, because of the demand, if we want a manual transmission, we don't get the higher variant. Maybe only the lowest possible variant have the manual option. So the question back to you is, are you willing to sacrifice all the fancy features for the manual transmission? Well, for example, for my car, well, I'm very lucky that the most standard version of the Proton Persona does satisfy my want, because all the features that I get on the higher variant is the features that I don't really care about. For example, the leather seat, the push start button, well, I don't really care about those features. The features that I want is already there in the standard variant, so I don't really care about I'm getting a lower variant Proton Persona. But for some car, you might get a underpowered engine, you might get like less safety features. So the question back to you is, are you willing to sacrifice the features for a manual, or you actually want the features and you are okay to sacrifice the manual? So it is actually up to you. Which one do you prefer? Next is the value. Well, this thing different from cars to cars. If you buy a city car, of course the automatic will have a higher second-hand value compared to manual. If you get a sportier car, for example the Toyota GT86, Mazda Miata, or even the Subaru WRX, well, of course manual is going to have a higher second-hand value compared to automatic. And after all, value is not a very important thing if you're going to daily drive your car, because your mileage is going to devalue the car anyway. So unless you are the person that rarely drive a car, then you might consider the value, which is automatic for city car and manual for sportier car. Next is the maintenance. Well, in terms of periodic service, I would say both are the same. Why? Because manual nowadays using a hydraulic clutch, and hydraulic means that there is some kind of oil that you need to change it after a few thousand kilometers. The same goes to automatic. There is an oil that you need to change it after a few thousand kilometers. So in terms of price, well, it is the same. When the times come, you have to service your car. If not, well, your gearbox is not going to last long. And for day-to-day practice, well, for automatic car, you might need to avoid keep changing between D and N for manual car, you might need to avoid half pressing the clutch. So I would say automatic and manual both have their do and don'ts, and both have their own service things. So there's no transmission that is more superior, more reliable. It's all up to how you service your car. And next is the drivability. Well, most of you might disagree with me, but believe me, I'm a person who daily drive a manual car. And I do drive my car on smooth road, I do drive my car on traffic jam, and I do drive my car on KL, of course. So you can consider my opinion is trustable. But to be honest, the drivability of a car on a manual and auto is actually the same. No matter you drive a manual or an auto, whenever there is a traffic jam, of course it's not going to be comfort. And how uncomfort it is? Well, if you drive an auto, your right leg is more uncomfort, and if you're driving a manual, well, your left leg is going to press the clutch more often. If you are a person who daily drive an automatic, of course you're going to complain about the manual because you are not used to the clutch pedal. You might feel very uncertain about whether you should press the clutch, whether you should release the clutch, and in the end you end up half pressing the clutch, which is very bad for the car and very bad for your leg, and that's what makes you very uncomfort in your left leg. Well, actually, manual car, you don't need to press the clutch very often during the traffic jam, and also you don't need to press the brake and the throttle very hard like an automatic car. You might check my video on how to drive a manual on a traffic jam here. And of course, this is not about the automatic driver, for a manual driver also. For me, whenever I drive my friends or my brother's automatic car, I'll complain a lot about automatic car. Why? Because, well, I need to press a lot of brake to stop the car, and releasing the throttle is not really moving the car. So in the end, I feel that my right leg is very tiring when driving an automatic on a traffic jam. So does it mean that I'm a skillless driver? No, because I'm used to a manual car. And for a person who used to an auto car, they can't drive in traffic jam, or they feel very tiring in traffic jam. Is it the fault of the driver or the car? No, it's because they are not used to driving a manual. So after all, it is all up to the person which kind of driving pattern you prefer. There is no answer as automatic is more superior or manual is more superior. Maybe there's a more common answer that automatic is better because most of the drivers in Malaysia are driving automatic. So this is a more common answer, but it is not actually a right answer. So the bottom line is, if you are used to a manual car, get a manual car. If you are used to an auto car, get an auto car. There's no such thing as auto is better or manual is better. It's all up to you. So I hope you like this video. Click the subscribe button and comment what do you think about automatic and manual. This is my opinion. Well, of course I drive an automatic car also. My brother's car, my friend's car are automatic, and some of my friends' car are manual, and this car is also a manual, and I daily drive this car. So if you are also a person who can drive both auto and manual, do comment below which one do you prefer. So I'll see you in the next video.